Okay, back to Ace Attorney. Case 4, not Case 5 as I keep thinking it is. But no, there's still going to be another case after this. I guess, unless they break with tradition. Actually, the first game only had 4 cases, didn't it? Didn't most of the... Now I'm just straight up telling lies. Alright, so what little bit had we gotten into here, this case? So the dad and the judge showed up. We found out that when they came to England 10 years ago, there was a third guy with them who went around and murdered 5 people, and then was sentenced to death, although maybe the execution wasn't carried out. That was the result of the last trial. And then seemingly he jumped out of the grave and then was shot. In any case, he did not return home to Japan. He may or may not actually still be alive. He almost certainly is not actually guilty of going around and killing those 5 people. That'll be somebody else. We're now coming here to talk to him because we could not get into the jail to talk to the warder, the chief warder. Because he's just super racist against the Japanese. And we're like, wait a minute, didn't you say you knew the warder? And now we're coming here to ask him that. That's Professor Mikotoba over there. Hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where is Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country today, goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man, or his son? Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful, if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. This newspaper's not going to read itself. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee. Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or it could be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts. Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. And he wrote me a letter of recommendation. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully, when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. The letter of introduction has been entered into the court record. Good luck, then. Well, screw you too, buddy. Too busy reading the paper. Take that. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's they saying? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba. See, back to Australia. That young jock from the forensics laboratory, that Mikotoba. Yes, exactly, him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Eugene Mikotoba's daughter, Susato. Jings? Do they have those in Scotland? I don't know what they are. You're the man's daughter. And you didn't think to mention that at all. I do apologize. Aye, well, you best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? dinna forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits. Oh, I get it. You drink the tea with your pinky out, and if you don't, then they handcuff your pinky. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. So then, what can I do for you, hen? Hen? Do I look like a chicken to you, sir? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. I haven't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh. But how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder. Eh? Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? What did you fire him? You fired him yesterday and he hasn't told his wife. Or you fired him several years ago and he hasn't told his wife. Tell me about the professor first. Not in a hurry. My father came to Britain all those years ago to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research, do you ken? Yes, I can imagine. But can you ken? The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Well, you're not supposed to eat the corpses. Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today. St. Sinners, that's come up before, I'm sure. Has it? I don't recall. Yes, that's right, we've been there. Oh! Oh, it's where we met Dr. Sith. Mikota Banai after... What? English. Mikota and I used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. Aye, that we used to sit in here for hours, gab on about dissection and sorts. Ugh, takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a... I do love them. Too big for his pinky, though. My pinky could... And his pinky is not in, because it won't fit in the handcuffs. A pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fellow, your father. Reliable. Did sit on his work. I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Impact, I suppose. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. I was right. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job. No doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Sorry, did you say was? Aye, he doesn't work here no more. He left the job. Oh my. When was this exactly? There's a question. When was it about? It can't have been much less than 10 years ago now. Ah, my God. Am I good or am I good or am I good? He quit 10 years ago. Never told his wife. 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, laddie. As I mind it. Do you ken? I haven't heard the fellow's name in all that time. That's a worry if he's gone missing, though. But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, isn't it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago, which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Aye, that's our word for it in here, a walk to the gallows. An execution? It's the job of the Chief Warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. What did he do? Sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. But I can tell you it's very rare for a Chief Warder to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't have ken anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal? What will that be, Anne? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly. Sorry, I really am, but I'm at no liberty to discuss that. To answer that. I see. Well. I cannot tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, a moment before you're away, Hen. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. What is it? Found it. Take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's no the original, mind. The harsh reprimand incurred by Mr. Vigil 10 years ago that resulted in him losing his job as Chief Warder of Barclay Prison. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, in return... do me a favor and never come back here. The case is closed. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Oh, I should have looked at the dismissal notice. Blap. We're back. Who's that? Oh, it's you. Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is. Greetings, my dear fellows. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Pray, tell me, what of our water friend? Have you garnered some new information? Void Hunter? Yes, I'm pretty addicted to it. I like it a lot. Frontline seems to be garbage now, though. Like, it really, really sucks that, like, just having, I don't know, 2 coordinated Dragoons, or, like, a coordinated White Mage and Dragoon, or literally anyone with an AoE limit break can just go, hey, are you guys standing in the obvious place that you would need to stand in order to fight the nodes? Or in order to get the ice, or whatever. All dead. I'm not a huge fan of the changes as they pertain to Frontline, but I am really digging Crystalline Conflict. Oh yes, something very surprising, in fact, though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that Sholmes? Who is it? Oh, it's you. Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important. Gina? I can't Adam believe it. Dragoons, yeah. People seem to be... See, here's the thing that's tough to... We'll have a little break for Final Fantasy PvP real quick. Because it's really impactful and memorable to get killed from 100% by a samurai, or to, like, have 2 people get deleted at once from a ninja. Like, people are saying that those are really powerful, and yet I would have no way of knowing if that's actually the truth in terms of win percentage, or if it just feels the worst to die to them, you know? So, I don't know. I've only been playing as a bard the whole time, and Dragoons got tired of the memes. Now we're bringing the spite. Bard, because Bard gets more damage on their main attack from being farther away. It's like I don't even care where the crystal is. I'm just constantly staying as far back as possible and just going fa-punk, 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 fa-punk. And my LB is just the most supportish LB ever. It's just, everybody's a little faster and a little stronger and gets some more limit break. It doesn't feel impactful at all, but I do a lot of damage as long as people don't dive me. And if they do, I pretty much die, but... Right, that's the other thing, is that even if you have one big play... If it's not the play that wins the game, then it kind of doesn't matter, because it also doesn't... I mean, if one team is dying a lot more than the other, then they're going to lose, because they'll have slightly longer... they're not going to win. But there have been a lot of matches that I've been in where we have aced the enemy team, and then we're pushing the crystal. They respawn and they don't run in one at a time. And because they have time to, like, mark one of us and coordinate and be like, okay, like, we're ready. As soon as somebody says go, we're gonna run in and we're gonna obliterate either the one guy that we've picked out, or we're going to overlap LBs and kill the 3 or 4 people who are on the crystal. So yeah, just acing the enemy team is not an automatic win unless you're already within 10 seconds of the goal. But yeah, no, I've been playing it a lot and liking it. Although I haven't been playing ranked, because I guess I don't really like the idea of caring about whether I win or lose. Like, even if the quality of the matches might get better if I were to play ranked and go up to whatever gold or platinum or however. Like, I'm not very good, I'm not super good. Oh yeah, yeah. I like it always hurts to die really fast at the start. Or the other way around. I've had ones where like we run out and immediately get like 3 kills and easily push to the first checkpoint, and then it's like nope, then they get their footing and they turn back around and we end up losing. But yeah, so that's my experience. I've only been playing as Bard because it seemed to be the simplest kit to understand. I'm like, I have an arrow, I put it in the bow and I pull it back and I let go. On alts, I don't have any alts. No alts for me. There are so many achievements to go get because I'm still the achievement monger. I guess my main thing right now is to just keep grinding it on Bard in order to just get all of the points that I need to get all of the Garo achievements. And then after I've done that, maybe I'll I don't know, after I hit like 100 wins on Bard or something and get that achievement, that I'll switch to something else, because you get separate achievements for each role. Like, you know, get X number of wins on tank, on healer, on stuff. But yeah, for now it's just barding away with my arrows. What's she crying about? What's happened? Clearly, a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean, Inspector Gregson? The boss he's dead. No, he isn't. He's just in Paris. What? They just found his body shot with a pistol. What? But Inspector Gregson, he was murdered? No, not Gregsy. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. He's not dead. He's in Paris. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was really shot off screen? I don't know much about what happened myself. They're still investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny. Well, while we're on bad news, Iris, your father, also dead. Died a long time ago. We haven't told you. We're saving it for a rainy day. Who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? They got him already. Already? They've caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported something was going on and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What awful person did this? Daily Vigil. I still can't believe it myself. Gina? It was the Reaper. Oh my god, are we going to defend Van Zieks in court? Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zieks for it? That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss. Now, Lord Van Zieks. Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Barak von Zeeks the police have arrested. I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room in the yard. Wow! You actually got a large? That is incredible. Like a personal house? Well, I guess right, there how many? It's 6 per ward, and there's 6 personal wards, so 36. There were only 36 of them, and you got one of them. Incredible. I have heard all of the stuff going on in, like, since the housing results came out, that there were a bunch of bugs and a bunch of houses, like, wound up not getting sold to anyone. A 1 in 12? I would have thought there would be way more people. Maybe you're on a lesser populated server. Oh my god, that's the biggest win in the world. Wow. No, I guess maybe there just aren't. No, there's tons of people that have like 50 million gil that they could drop on a house. They were just like, oh, like a whole bunch of plots. If you go up to it, it's like, oh yeah, like person number 01. And people were kind of like immediately started speculating that, oh, they forgot to add 1 to the random function. Like if there's 12 people and you say, in most programming languages, if you say random 12, it means you're going to get a random number from 0 to 11. And they're like, oh, so on a bunch of the houses, like, they forgot to say random and then add 1. So, so and it's like, that's not what happened. That's absolutely not what happened. Oh, you went straight for Ward 24 and found the best odds there. Congratulations. That is extraordinary. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So, you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot. They heard the gunshot, apparently. And when I got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. But there's no way Lord Van Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. I know, that's crazy. So, are you going to decorate it yourself, or are you going to hire a decorator? Like, we have a meeting. Well, I'm in an FC where I'm the only person left. There's me and Soul Shadows logs on occasionally, but it's basically just the 2 of us, which means it's basically just me. It's a medium, and it's like barely decorated at all. It's kind of a waste, but I don't want to give it up because it's mine. I don't believe it either. Oh, it reminds me, I didn't check my sub before I started the stream. My submarine's probably back. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. Decorating it yourself with the help of a friend. Nice. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come and all, as soon as you can. You gotta help. Help. It's a detective's lot to appear It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson? Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then. Inspector Gregson dead and Lord Van Zeeks arrested. Runo, Susie, I've called you a hansom. It's waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sato? Yes. So we could go... I mean, that's where they seem to be saying to go, but... Couldn't we also go talk to him right away? No, I guess let's go here first. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden, rented old room is where it happened, then. Red wig? So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above this ceiling checked, and don't forget to check the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone over an house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques, so she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here pointing at stuff and flicking that at of his and then just scarpered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah. He didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Otto. You're in all your right. Yes, why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zeeks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Otto, get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. No, you have to use bricks. If you just nail boards over it, you still get taxed on them. Someone's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? Couldn't even really call it a window anymore, except for tax purposes. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say nothing more about it. Starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. What? Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind. Look. Suppose if a bullet had hit it, it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Candelabrum? Is that the singular of candelabra? Is candelabra plural? We don't have, even if it was blown off, we don't have any evidence that that happened at the same time. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh. Funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! It is! A bright red hairpiece. I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And in such a flame-colored red, too. Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly! This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. It will probably be under Dr. Sith's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Oh yeah, the song is very good. I really couldn't hear it very well when I was, like, the first run of the raid, which if you go back, I have a VOD because I streamed it as soon as the servers were up. Or actually, I was like an hour late because the servers came up an hour early. But you know, first run of that, and didn't really get to hear much of the song. But now that I've heard it, it's a jam. It's very good. Susato-san is so strong. She's taking this far better than I am. A doll? Oh, what's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeeks playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way. This is presumably the murder weapon, then. Man, we sure do like to presume. Oh my, it is real, I suppose? I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan. I really know very little about them. There's only one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot. No, no, no. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work, then. And you? Same thing? Nope. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. Yawning so much, even though I slept an incredible amount today. Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Oh, man. Can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. This looks like some sort of notice board or something, and it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Mr. Naruhodo, look! This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. And this one here. Yes, the advertisement, you mean. To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Regson's family members. Is it Evie Daly? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. It's bad for you. They are! Look, Mr. Naruto, quickly! I was right. Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Of course she's familiar! We met her only this morning! Ah! It's Mrs. Vigil. Oh wait, did I call her Evie Daly? Evie Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either. A photographic print of a smiling Miss Vigil in her younger years. Fun fact, all photographic prints are of you in your younger years. I thought for sure I was going to be able to click on those, but it was not to be. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust. Look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all. Merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's right. It's one or the other. Well, might not be anything else. Door? Can't look at door. Let's go into the court record and look at all of our things. Professor Mikotoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. It's just me. Or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he'd at least called you a nice young man. Really not sure that would help. Oh, look at this! It looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, First Class Cabin 001. Yokohama departure, September 11th, London arrival, November 1st. It's a boat that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night, before finally arriving in Dover. To think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Buria. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Alright, so that'll be important that we've seen that. Notice of dismissal, and this is from 10 years ago. Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict censored. Just prior to his execution. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries are being expected. Additional notes. Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Ah, there's some black marks here. Look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. Perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. My book does turn into a gun, however. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? Not sure it's quite how I put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place, so it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Looks as if someone has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Should we try twisting it around and around too? For fun. Oh! What's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny, though. It couldn't be a key for a door. Not that size. So what is it for, I wonder? Very curious. This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. Very tiny and simple key. What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? I suppose this must have been a murder weapon. Oh my, it is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. Perhaps someone more familiar with firearms could shed a light on things here. Can't I inspect it all over? Cannot. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Somewhat like that, I think. Point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he'd managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did? Yup, and ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half these cases he's working on, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he'd had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to that fellow, were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He said something else to me and all, that I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because it only goes after people what are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. What is this place? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right. All the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck in the investigation. But there's so little here. There's so little here. No one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible if this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. Ever high and good night, both, in that order. See you on the VOD. I'd never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see there's a few things that hint at it. You should really investigate this place in detail. I did. Of course. I might, I don't know, take like a month off. I feel like the next month or so is going to be like stressful. Like I am going to have to get a job, and it's probably going to be one that I don't like. I imagine, although who knows. I hate looking for work. So after I'm done with this game, probably I might take some time off. I see that's where the poor inspector was found, over there. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. I've never disappeared for 5 weeks. Disappeared for 4 months. That was all. And the gun used is there on the floor. That's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying that. What, really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. Some bigwig lawman or whatever who says so. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along that window there. Under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector there. Here, after all, they'll be getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads at the yard would just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling on all. Oh. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. We're also not really involved in this case at the moment. Not like we've said we will defend you. There he is, Lord Van Zeeks behind bars. Ooh, are we going to be up against Lord Strongheart? Is he going to prosecute the case? That would be wild. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeeks. Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened, that Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. Standing here as if they're side by side makes him look very short. He seems like he should be like a good 6'3" or 6'4", and she is only a tiny little thing. You must help us with our investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you.
What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case?
This? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with the subject. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain.
Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university.
And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know?
I'd always hoped that somebody could teach me how to count to 10. Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. They seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened?
How much do you already know?
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself.
But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you?
I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had the chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers.
So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh.
After all, you're not representing me.
He's going to need a lawyer, though. Am I actually sleepy? I kind of am. That's weird. After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought.
It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day.
Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now.
He is.
Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks?
Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know.
This is different.
In my career, all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you?
It's been 10 years! That I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, It seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that.
What does he mean by that?
So it appears our conversation has run dry.
This is 2-second silence, that's all.
Well, in any event, if you will excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you.
I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you.
You trust me, do you?
Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people and wine bottles. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly.
It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one.
What?
Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese.
But please.
I have no intention of engaging your services.
The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems.
I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time.
Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. I know we only just started. I figured we would at least get to the trial today, but I don't know, kind of tired. I'm not quite up to streaming today. I guess maybe I'll just wrap it up here. We'll just wrap it up here. Resume on Monday is the plan. There's just so much talking in this game. Alright, that'll be it for today. We'll play some more of this on Monday. Certainly get to the trial then. And then eventually finish it up. Hideo, thank you. You have a good night as well. Hope you enjoyed. Good night, everybody.